Jake, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
How is it going today, first of all?
It's going pretty good. I've been busy lately, racing a lot every weekend almost, and came up here today just to do this special interview. Of course, I mean, interviewing is the biggest thing in racing nowadays. It's not just talent; it's all about social media and all that. So I mean, it's a big thing. So yeah.
Gotcha. Let's get into it. How did you get your start in racing? Take me through that. Your dirt. Take me through all this.
Well, first time I started driving something, I was 3 years old. I hopped in a little Comer 50 go-kart, asphalt, did that for a year, 2 years, and then I kind of stopped, kind of grew up a little bit. And then once I turned 7, I started racing in the off-road series, and I started doing that, short course stuff, desert, all of that. And then I was like, well, it's time to move to asphalt stuff where it's going to actually make something of myself, So I started Bandolero racing when I was 10. I did that for a year and then hopped in a Legend when I was 11. I was the youngest. I wasn't even allowed to race, but I still did. And that's how I kind of started. My dad actually used to race off-road, and that's how I got my passion for it when I was at the young age.
Gotcha. And then, what have you learned racing all this time? Obviously there's going to be hard times, there's going to be good times. That's how racing goes. But what have you learned, and how have you grown, since then to now?
Never worry about the bad things. Always focus on the good things. That's the main thing, because bad things are just going to make you do worse than everything. Yeah.
Gotcha. And then, we've talked about you running ARCA this year. How has that been going for you? I know you're only on a part-time schedule. What have some of those races been that you've done this year? Take me through that.
So this year, what I've set myself to do is to learn the ARCA Menard Series car. Learn it, tracks, stuff like that. I wasn't planning on running a full season, just planning on running 2 to 3 races to keep my rookie status for next year. And next year I have stuff planned. I have couple options I would like to choose from, and we're just going to go from there.
Will it be in the main ARCA Menard Series nationally, or will it be in the ARCA West or East? What is that going to be? Anything you can talk about there?
Hopefully the full West season and maybe a couple East races.
Gotcha. And then, you've raced a few races in the ARCA Series this year. What has been the challenges in that? Because I know things can get crazy in there. I've seen a few ARCA West races. They get interesting.
Challenges of it, they're school buses. They don't like to stop, so whatever line you're going to take, that's where you're going to go. You can't make a subtle movement like a super late model or a late model, stuff like that.
Gotcha. And then, you talked about your dirt supercar experience, or that dirt experience. How has any of that translated over? Is there any skills that you learned there that translated over? I mean, I'm sure there's some racecraft stuff there, but what has transferred over from there?
Dirt racing has taught me everything. Like Kyle Larson, he's a dirt racer. He's a wheelman. Dirt racing lets you find the limit of your car. It's loose. Well, it's going to be loose. Drive it. And if you're in the middle of a 300-lap NASCAR race, you can't just make an adjustment on a green flag run, So you always just have to, that's how you figure out what you're going to do with your car. And that's what dirt racing shows you.
What advice would you give to young dirt racers that are trying to get to be in your shoes, and, what advice would you give them?
The best advice I can give is probably stick to dirt racing. I stopped. I wish I never have, because I want to go back to it. Asphalt racing is going to be asphalt racing. Dirt racing is going to be dirt racing. But it all adds up to one thing.
Speaking of dirt racing, Kyle Larson is obviously someone that is from Northern California, my area. Sounds like he's a mentor to you. What other guys do you try to model your racing career after? I mean, it sounds like Larson's one of those guys.
Larson is probably the best one for me, because he had some off-track stuff, which, I mean, it happens. It's life. Move on. But he's come back to a better person. He is still racing, cup, dirt, everything, and he's still a wheelman.
On top of that, he just won his High Limit Sprint Car Series title this year. Do you have any plans to do any extracurricular racing, like sprint cars, midgets, the Chili Bowl, anything like that at all?
I want to every single day. My mom won't let me. My mom thinks they're so dangerous, but I'm definitely gonna hop in one for sure. I actually tested one when I was like 7. I hopped into like a midget, and I was so small, but it was the funnest thing ever.
What's that experience right? Now you got me curious because the Chili Bowl is obviously one of my favorite events to watch every January. It's a tradition. What was so fun about that?
Just sliding the car around, drifting basically. I mean, on the throttle, off. It's just you don't get the adrenaline rush as you do on asphalt. That's what I'm saying.
Gotcha. And then let's see here. Are there any other inspirations? Like we talked on Larson, Reddick is another guy that raced kind of dirt road courses up in Redding. There's a bunch of dirt guys coming into NASCAR right now. Clearly, there's some pathway from that because it's working right now. What are you seeing in that sense as to why dirt guys are coming into NASCAR and being so successful?
Because dirt teaches you everything you need to know. For asphalt, dirt, it teaches you car control. That's the main thing. That some guys, if you just stick to asphalt and you're like stuck to the track and just riding your line, you're never gonna feel what it's like to break loose until you actually do, and it's too late.
So asphalt racing, what is so different from it from dirt racing? I know obviously it's smoother and all that. I know this seems like a basic question, but what is the biggest challenge going from one to the other?
Challenge? I don't think there's big difference. It's all racing. It's all everything. The only difference is asphalt. Of course, you're not sliding the car around the turn. That's not going to be fast. But if it does get loose off, you have some way to correct it since you have dirt experience.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, you raced for the Huddleston team a few times this year. What was it like getting to work with them? And obviously Cole Custer was in the 55 car at Sonoma. I remember that. What's it been like being just a part-timer with that team and seeing maybe Cup guys coming through, or Xfinity guys like Cole Custer coming through? How's that helped you?
High Point was great to me. They really taught me a lot for just the amount of races. I only had 3, so it taught me a lot. Yeah, they were really good to me. I can't say anything else.
Gotcha. What was your favorite of the 3 races that you raced at? I think you raced Irwindale.
I raced Irwindale Speedway twice, and then I did Kern County Speedway. Kern was probably my favorite, honestly, that I've done in the ARCA car. I don't know. It wasn't too line sensitive. Let's just say that.
Gotcha. And then what are your goals here? Obviously, to be a NASCAR Cup Series driver racing on Sundays, but short-term and long-term goals. Take me through those.
Short-term goals, I love to, in the next year or 2 that I'm racing super late models, I'd love to go win the Snowball Derby, which that's the hardest asphalt race, I think, out of NASCAR Cup in the whole country. I'd love to go win that one, and that's going to be years to come, but that's my short-term goal. Long-term goal, of course, is the Cup Series. I mean, that's everyone's really.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Jake. I appreciate it.
Thank you.